Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm ETA that will reemerge in the Caribbean this weekend and then head towards Florida, then towards the southeast coast into early next week. So before I do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that are going to be in the path of ETA. So let's kind of delve into the details. I have a lot to talk about with a lot of details, so please stay with me during the entire video to get the whole picture of how this is going to play out. Here's where we stand right now. We've got a formidable tropical storm still at 70 miles an hour, moving west at 8 miles an hour. This is the latest 4 a.m. advisory. It impacted as a 140-mile-per-hour hurricane yesterday, did devastating impacts, very slow moving, bringing catastrophic rain to this area. This will bring life-threatening flash flooding to Central America, along with landslides and the higher terrain. We're still dealing with flash and river flooding in possible areas across Jamaica, southeast Mexico, El Salvador, southern Haiti, and the Cayman Islands through Friday evening. So ETA is forecasted to regain tropical storm strength before it moves across portions of Cuba and approaches southern Florida this weekend. And while it's too soon to determine the exact timing and magnitude of the location, impacts from wind and rainfall, interest in the Cuba, southern Florida, and the Florida Keys should monitor this process of ETA through the week. And you can see it's a formidable tropical storm now, and it downgrades to still a tropical storm, lowers it to depression as it crosses into Honduras and getting into Belize, with some extremely heavy rainfall still to come in that area over the next several days, and then reemerges back into the Caribbean on Saturday as a tropical storm, and then intensifies a little bit, 50 miles an hour, and it could be possibly a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm on the tip of South Florida overnight Sunday into Monday morning. So let's kind of zoom out and take a look at the big picture of how this is all going to play out. There's three areas of interest. Right here in the Pacific, this is a tropical storm that's moving safely away from everybody. Here's your area of interest where ETA is. And then here's another also an area of interest of a tropical wave that's going to be propagating westward throughout this time frame, as we'll be talking about ETA, and then possibly reaching into this zone of the Virgin Islands and going into possibly this area in a week or so. But the more concerning part right now is ETA. And you can see, even with it moving inland, a lot of the convection is well away from the center under just extremely, water content over this area, with some, thunderstorms bubbling up well away from the center. So as this moves ashore, you can kind of see where the, the center is. There's a lot of deep water steer, and there's dry air. And let me show you what's happening is a lot of the convection is well away from the center, and you can, as this expands, some of the bigger rains could be felt in Jamaica today as some of these heavier rains move over you this afternoon. So, and I kind of show you this in the latest water vapor imagery. Here's the kind of the demarcation line of the dry air actually help feeding the soupy air down below. And you can see that as this moves ashore, these thunderstorms kind of expand. And so even though this is, inland now, a lot of this convection is well away from the center, and you could get some of your heaviest rainfalls today in the island of Jamaica, as well as the Cayman Islands. So, even though this is going to be inland, you can still have impacts well away from the center as this brings torrential rains towards, Honduras, getting into Belize as we go into Thursday. And you can kind of see as it kind of falls apart. I think by then in Jamaica, you will have a little bit of a drier spell coming up on Thursday and Friday as this kind of moves ashore and weekends, and some of your bigger rains will get into Belize by then. But you can see by Friday, I mean, as soon as this thing comes, gets somewhat close back over the waters, it just re-intensifies because it taps into that really juicy air mass as it comes back into the Caribbean heading towards the United States and Florida. Now, here's the overall intensity guidance between now and the next 7 days. So today's the 4th. This only puts it through the 11th, and this is a crucial time. So I'll show you here towards the end of the video. It remains pretty much a tropical storm, if not a little downgraded to a depression. But all the guidance as it comes off the Caribbean, it comes back as a tropical storm, and some of them have it even going up to possibly a Category 1 hurricane as it heads towards Florida this weekend. And so what's happening is we've got a very dominant high pressure that's going to be propagating over the United States. As this actually comes offshore, there's going to be a lot of warm air over the United States Friday into Saturday, and that will cause divergence again underneath, help lower the pressures and help intensify this storm as it moves, re-intensify this storm as it moves north towards the Florida region. So now let's take a look at the overall probability index of the latest European model, and kind of shows pretty much consistency between Friday and Monday, a pretty formidable storm coming off the coast and re-intensifying as it heads towards Florida. And here we take it out another time frame. This is between Sunday and Tuesday. A lot of the guidance is implying that it heads towards Florida, but then heads out back into the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico and the southeast. So the steering currents get pretty light here as we're waiting for a stronger cold front that's going to be coming in to the United States. And I showed you the warm air, and it'll make a transition to cold from the west to the east, but that will take almost all week for that to happen. Because between Tuesday and Thursday, this could be a formidable storm in the Gulf of Mexico approaching the southeast. So as it comes inland, it could swing back out over the open waters and it really intensify and then swing up the southeast coast. And this is the 12th. Okay. And then look at this area of concern. We might be dealing with potentially, possibly that wave that's finally reached this region as it propagates over the last 8 days. This could be theta. So we'll just see how this all plays out. But the main area of concern is ETA going forward over the next week. So here's the latest guidance of all the different models that's showing pretty much congruent now that it's coming offshore into the Caribbean, dumping some extremely heavy rainfall this weekend in the Cayman Islands. As it crosses over Cuba, it will touch Florida, but we're dealing with the very high pressure over here. This will help propagate it and swing it west over the Gulf of Mexico. And once it reaches the Gulf, of course, all bets are off. So it's still some very warm water, but a lot of the guidance pushes it into the Gulf while it's waiting for that cold front in the United States. So it could meander in this area for several days. And so, because what's happening is this cold front finally makes its way, but this is the 12th. Remember, the latest guidance I showed you was between the 4th and the 11th. And so this cold front, so it could sit there for several days getting its act together as waiting for this cold front. And then you can see a lot of the, warmer air, just really soupy air of, 20, 25 degrees temperatures above normal. So this could be, a long ways to come. So here's on Saturday. Let's kind of take you back and take a look at the whole big picture, how this is going to play out. As it emerges, it comes off the Caribbean on Saturday, dumping some extremely heavy rainfall over the Cayman Islands. I do expect not a good weekend over the Cayman Islands with, tropical storm force winds and torrential rains. And some of your heavier rains might sneak back into Jamaica on Saturday as this thing kind of gets near. This will swing up into Cuba on Sunday night into Monday, and then getting towards South Florida, dumping those extremely heavy rains over the Keys, and this will help propagate it westward. So you're going to be dealing with that very heavy rain into South Florida coming up on Sunday into Monday. But a lot of the guidance has it moving west over the Gulf of Mexico, and this is my concern. So once it actually propagates west, and a lot of the all the computer guidance, a lot of the models show it's going to move back over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico. This possibly gets into what they call the loop current of the Gulf of Mexico. And here's the map. I kind of drew it out for you of where this zone is. This is the zone of very deep ocean waters, even warmer than all around. Then once it gets into this zone, it could really start to intensify. And this is the zone that Hurricane Michael, if you remember back in 2018, was able to get into and really explode in this area. So this is one of my concerns going forward. And I'll kind of show you this in the deep shear. So a lot of shear comes into play as it's moving towards Florida on Saturday into Sunday. So this is what the storm, it's going to be a tropical storm, but it's probably not going to be any, higher than that, because it's going to be dealing with a lot of shear in that environment. But as it moves towards Florida and comes off the coast on Monday night into Tuesday, this high pressure will block it and will keep it moved back over the open waters. And this shear is the cold front we're awaiting that could take several days. This gets trapped into a lower sheared environment over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, over the loop eddy at that point. And you can see by Wednesday, it kind of really starts to get its act together. This could be a hurricane by then that we're dealing with off the southeast coast, waiting for that cold front. And we take it on another frame, this could really start to get its act together and become a formidable hurricane as it's tapping into that loop eddy current, over the last several days. And this would take possibly a similar path of Hurricane Michael back in 2018, impacting the Panhandle, Florida, coming up the southeast coast. And so this is my concern going forward. And this was the 11th to the 12th. So it's probably not going to be picked up until the 12th time frame before that cold front moves it through. So we're going to be dealing with ETA for the next week and possibly beyond, as this meanders over a large area of real estate, eventually getting into the southeast coast of the United States and possibly really intensifying as a hurricane. And we'll be ironing out the details. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. I know there's a lot of details to go over, but this could be a storm that we're still talking about for another week, with a lot of impacts to come. So I appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video, where I protect you before and after the storm.